Hi, it's Monday. For me, anyway. I don't know what day it is for you. You could be watching this video any single day of the week you want to. I got a late start today because I suck. I mean, I pretty much get a late start every day, don't I? You have no idea. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, that's the thing about these daily videos. On one hand, it forces me to get out here every day and at least get something done, get some work done. And that's better than getting nothing done on a day. But on the other hand, if I'm experiencing a particular bout of productivity, then I have to stop at some point in the afternoon anyway to make sure that I have enough time to edit this video for the day. So at usually about 3 or 4 o'clock, I have to say, all right, that's enough. I have to make sure that I have time to edit this video. So on one hand, it's getting me out here every day. On the other hand, I'm not being the most productive. It has definitely slowed down the productivity on the bus, whereas if I would have just been filming a normal video, I wouldn't have to worry about editing every day. Now, let me tell you about the goals I have for the bus in part 4 of the bus project series in a second. But first, a fan sent me something, more specifically 2 things. He saw that the VHB tape I was using was, I guess, a weaker kind of VHB tape, and it's a small roll, so he sent me this from McMaster Carr. It's a massive roll of ultra high strength VHB tape. In fact, it was so high strength that he sent me a warning in email telling me what not to do with it. Like, you know, don't stick your fingies together with it, stuff like that. And he said that when he typically uses it, because apparently he uses this stuff often, he will let it cure for 3 days, use a heat gun on it, etc. I also got, in one of these bags here, yes, I know my workbench is a mess, some self-etching, that's not it, this is it, some self-etching primer, and that's what I'm going to use to coat the surfaces of the sheet metal where the VHB is going to adhere to. So this should work just fine. I'm not even going to test it because that's what a lot of you suggested, and it just seems right anyway. Also, another thing he sent me in this McMaster Carr order that this VHB tape shipped in is this. This is a Ferrite Choke. He sent me a Ferrite Choke for my microphone issue. This should help limit the electromagnetic interference that my microphone cable is suffering. Now, by the way, this is not the original lapel mic that came with my Rode Link. This is an aftermarket one. It's the Rode's, I think it says on here. No, it doesn't. I think it's the Rode Smart Lav. It's the one meant to plug into your phone. And I haven't experimented with it yet. Some people, doesn't matter. Someone suggested that I plug this in directly to my phone to see if that it's actually the cable itself that's causing the electromagnetic, that's causing the buzzing and whatnot, and if it's not the transmitter itself. But anyway, I haven't tried that, and I'm not going to because this generous person sent me this Ferrite Choke, lovely fan, and I'm just going to clip it on the cable and see if it positively affects my audio. If I can get the piece of ferrite back in there. Here we go. It's just a little plastic clip with chunks of ferrite in there. And I'm going to clip it around here and see in editing tonight if this has any positive effect on the audio. The ferrite slipped out again. There we go. See if this has any positive effect on the audio. I don't know if it will, but it's worth a shot. I'm sure this was a very cheap piece of thing. Now, my plans for the bus for part 4 of the project series, because once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I'm going to be compilating all of the clips together from this daily video series into a part 4 of the bus project series so that I have a nice continuous bus project series going. What I plan to have done for part 4 is to have the living quarters entirely enclosed, which means sheet metal on the side, sheet metal on the back, all the windows in place, and that gaping hole in the roof, I want to make a custom sloping roof section to fill that in, and I plan to use steel rods and epoxy for that mainly. Also, I have fiberglass. Steel rods, fiberglass, epoxy for all of that structure. So that will be, I'm actually very excited about that. That will be a very interesting day when I go to do that. I don't think I'm going to put in the door. I'm going to have to make a custom door to replace the entry door that came off the bus. I don't think I'm going to include that in part 4, but part 4 will be mainly enclosing all the living quarters. So that's what you can expect. I gotta sneeze, hold on. Allergies. So that's what you can expect to see in part 4. Hopefully. I may not get all that done. And I also expect the daily videos to end either at the end of this week or the end of next week, and I probably won't get everything that I include in part 4 done in the daily video run, but we'll see. I'm actually having quite a bit of fun doing these daily videos. It's fun to just not worry about what I'm going to say, just come out to the shop, film things. It's so stress-free. Anyway, let's go out to the bus dungeon now. Yeah. Interesting little problem that's cropped up here. This is the door that goes out to the bus dungeon. The doorknob broke on the other side. I need to replace this, and I need to put a little chunk of wood or something there to make sure that I don't get latched inside of the bus room and have to exit through the garage door, because that would be a mild inconvenience. Oh, also electrical problems. I should give you all an update on that. I called my electric utility company to come out and inspect the transformer or whatever to the shop. I told them I was having low voltage issues and flickering issues and whatnot. They came out, they inspected it, and they told me we didn't find any problems, which I thought, that's annoying. It's an intermittent issue. Of course you didn't find any problems while you're out here. But since they came out and did their tests and everything, I haven't had any problems since. So maybe they fixed it by pure chance. I don't know. I don't know what was happening, and I probably never will. But my electrical problems seem to be fixed, so that's cool. Anyway, let's go through this door and block it off so I don't get trapped in there. I just checked the battery tender I got hooked up to my bus here, and it was flashing orange, which I thought meant charging. Well, I looked on the back of the battery tender. That's not charging. That's a connection fault, and it's been doing that for months now. So I thought it's been maintaining the battery in the bus, but really it's just been sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So I checked the voltage on the batteries, and they were all at 0. So I hooked up the battery charger to the bus batteries, and hopefully they're not completely ruined, because that would stink. There's 3 batteries in this bus, and I don't have to replace them. Besides, when I got this bus just a year ago, they were brand new batteries. So anyway, here's to hoping I didn't ruin the batteries on my bus just by pure ignorance on how battery tender indicates. All right, let's cut this off, and put up some framing for this window hole here. I think I'm going to set this window on this side further back here. Then after that, we'll go to the back, and then after that, we'll weld everything up in place and put vertical supports in and all that stuff. One thing at a time. Let's get this out of the way. Weldy, weldy time. Yeah, pretty sure I just welded my C-clamp to the, yeah I did. I welded my C-clamp to the bus. Hello, I have a confession. It's now Tuesday. I had such an unproductive day yesterday that I decided to heck with it. I'm just going to combine Monday and Tuesday into one day. Again, it's Tuesday for me. I don't know what day it is for you. You could be watching this on any day of the week, including Tuesday. What can I say? I'm not the most productive person sometimes. Anyway, it's time to work on, oh, by the way, to avoid having another unproductive day, I'm going to set myself a goal today. I intend to have, by the end of today, these 2 windows framed up and all of the window frames that I've previously framed up fully welded in place, including the vertical supports. That's what I would like to have done today. Anyway, let's work on these windows now. I would like to have 1 window here and then 1 window here. And I think that is what is exactly what's going to happen. There is, sort of dictating where the windows go, there is a slope change right here. It's 90 degrees to the, it's perpendicular to the floor from this point down, but this point up, it angles in slightly. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but at this point, all the way around the bus, there is a slope change where it angles in slightly. That includes on the side walls too. So that sort of dictates the window placement. The windows on the side, I did put sort of in the middle of that slope change. You can see that the window frame over there, I don't know if you can see this on camera, the window frame over there, the very bottom of it is sort of past that slope change. I hope that won't be a problem. I'm just going with it. Anyway, I think I'm going to have one emergency exit window here and then one down here, which means putting a bar right about where this slope change happens, right about here. And then I can use that bar for both the top and the bottom windows, and then put another bar here and then another bar down here. The only slight problem with that is that I only have 2 more pieces of angle iron to put up here. So I'm going to have to be creative for the middle bar, I think. One interesting thing they did from the factory on this bus is you can see that this piece of channel is butted up next to this piece of channel, but they have the same width. So what they did here, so that this would be flush against this piece, was they just flat out smashed it, maybe even with a hammer. They smashed this piece down so that it would be bent out slightly and then fit flush on the front here. They just don't fit together. So they use brute force to smash it into place. It's done with all 4 of these butt joints here and the ones on the outside. So all 8 of these butt joints are just smashed into place so that they'll be flush on the outside. I don't really think I want to do that because that looks silly, but I might. I might take one of these channels that I got from the vertical supports in the back. I might put that here, and that'll be my middle window support, and then the lower and upper one will be a new piece of angle iron that I have. I think that's what I might do. And also the vertical supports, I don't think I mentioned this yet. The vertical supports that I'm going to put to fully frame up the windows, those are going to be reused pieces of angle iron that I got from all the back of the bus here. But we'll get to that in a second. I think first thing is to cut down my angle iron. Here's the 2 horizontal frame supports for the rear windows that I just cut out. Now, I need 3. One to go in between the windows, and one to go on the top, and one to go on the bottom. I do see that the offcuts, I could put these together, weld them together, and I would have a piece that's long enough for the that 3rd horizontal support. But this is a vertical channel that I got from lopping off the back half of the bus. It's just one of the many scrap steel parts I have. It has the kink in the middle from the aforementioned angle change on the walls, and it has this goofy bit welded on the top here where a bunch of other stuff was connected. If I cut off the goofy bit, cut out the kink, and weld these 2 straight pieces together, I will have my 3rd horizontal window support. Now honestly, I could have made all 3 horizontal window supports using scrap from the bus like this, but actually, I don't have a reason as to why I didn't do that, probably because I'm just thinking of it now. So anyway, let's make the 3rd horizontal window support out of this chunk here. And there we have it, the 3rd window support. Now I just need to weld these 2 straight bits together. Maybe with some scrap pieces in there for extra support. For good measure, really. All right, I got my little rolly table set up here for welding temporarily because there's no better surface to weld on than a flammable table. I'm going to go cut some bits off of this just as little strips, and then I'm actually going to grind the surface. Yeah, we're going to make some better welds out of that. All right, look at this weld. See how good it is? Yeah, you don't need to look at it. It's a great weld. I'm going to take it away off camera now. I need to carve a relief out of each end so that it fits properly against there. Just a little bit of an angle. I'm going to make a trip to the miter saw. I'll be right back. All right, I beveled the miter saw cutter relief, and it fits in there just fine now. Ah! Aw! My hearing protection broke. Well, good thing I have another pair. All right, now I need to cut a notch with new hearing protection. I need to cut a notch out of this flange here so that piece can fit flush. Now I'm glad I didn't make all 3 of these horizontal window supports out of this leftover scrap vertical channel, because I would have to make all kinds of adjustment to every one of them, whereas this angle iron just fits in there without any modifications or cutting or anything. Just sits right in there. Hack away time. All right, I got the flanges bent back. Let's grind a little bit of zinc away. Okay, that is welded in. Like fully, I didn't just tack it, I fully welded that. See these little white flakes floating around? Those are zinc oxide flakes, and I should not be breathing those in. I thought I did my part of grinding away all the galvanizing, but apparently I didn't. There's little white flakes floating around that I shouldn't be breathing in. Hey, real quick, I have a question for the audience. All of these windows, aside from the driver's seat window, I'm using are frameless windows. That means all they have on the outside is just this little lip with no holes for fasteners whatsoever. I'm going to put adhesive of some sort around this lip, but I want to know if any of you out there know about RV windows. Is there some sort of mechanical fastener for these frameless RV windows that clips in from behind? There's a little rail, a channel here that these little guide blocks sit in. Is there some sort of mechanical fastener that fits in there and clamps against this lip? I couldn't find anything online. I'm wondering if such a thing exists. If you know about such a thing, please let me know in the comments. I could do extensive Google searching, but might as well tap the power of the internet in the form of my audience. Thanks in advance for anyone that can answer my question. Also, if you have an actual answer for this, please email me, so I'll be more likely to see it. Thanks! Alrighty, all 3 of these horizontal supports are now fully welded in place. I didn't just tack them like I did with the other frames. Now it's time to go fully weld the other window frames in place, because I just tacked those in place for now. I'm going to go grind a little bit of clean metal, grind some of the surfaces down to clean metal, and then go through and weld them. Now what I've done here is made it harder for me to get from the front of the bus to the back of the bus. I think I'm going to have to set a step ladder in the back there so that I can go through here, because I'm not flexible enough to go through one of these holes every single time. Now there's going to be emergency exit windows here, so at some point, well, hopefully I never have to find out, but at some point I may go through one of these window holes. I'll be flexible enough if the front half of the bus is on fire, that's for sure. Well, guess what other stupid thing I did? I can't push the welding cart through here now. Aw, man! Now what? I should have pushed the welding cart through here before this was on. No, I can't. This thing is heavy. I don't like lifting it up and down off the bus. To finish welding the window frames, I need some little 1/2-inch filler pieces out of metal, and I'm just going to cut them out of this. This is just a bit of scrap I got from the bus. These were little horizontal supports between the vertical supports. That's all it is. As you can see, I have taken the windows out of their frame holes, and I have also, as you can't see, dispensed with the welding cart, because I hated that welding cart anyway. And I've got the welder in here. So now I shall finish welding all of these window frame holes. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little grinder action first. I think maybe tomorrow, since my welding cart is abysmal, I might make a new one tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. Oh! All right, these gloves are not thick enough. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, it looks like I'm done for today because I'm out of welding wire. So I'll see you tomorrow.